I'm Steve Bell with Blastoff Labs. We help growing businesses get more out of their digital advertising. What I'd like to help you with in this video is seeing how to value conversions in digital ad campaigns. Now, this will work on Google Ads, Microsoft Advertising, Facebook, or any of the other advertising platforms. It's a basic principle that will allow you to have better success with your campaigns and the optimization that leads to that. So in my last video, how to measure the success of your digital advertising campaigns, I talked about the two most important metrics in digital advertising margin and return on ad spend. What do we do to set the value which is needed to calculate both of those key important metrics? We need a conversion value for each type of conversion. So first step here is to identify your conversion points on your landing pages or website. So these would be typically form fills, phone calls, chats, and other methods of conversion that you set up. And you want to make sure, of course, that you're measuring those conversions and feeding them back into the ad campaign. But each type of conversion also has a financial value, a conversion value associated with it if you're doing this right. So let's take the form fill. Let's say you're running a lead generation campaign for a services business. Say it's for just as an example, a language translation or interpretation service, a business service. And the average business that comes in ends up spending about $5,000 when you convert a lead off your digital campaign. Now, you always need to think about a planning window when you're talking about a conversion value. So it's somewhat arbitrary, but you can look at the patterns in your business and your average customer life cycle and set a reasonable period, typically 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, up to maybe 2 years. So for this business, let's use a 1-year planning period. And let's say after that first $5,000 project, half the customers come back for another larger project, say $6,000, after you review your records from your CRM. So we put that in the timeline. We have an $11,000 average conversion value, but we factor the 50% of them. So we might come up with, say, a $7,500 average value for converted lead. So we have a conversion value now for the form fill. Now, phone calls are more immediate, usually with a higher close rate. Typical service business that's handling leads skillfully will close 70 to 80% of the calls. So it might be a little higher for that type of conversion, depending on your stats and your history. With a chat lead, typically they're more minor, higher funnel leads. You might have a $2,000 conversion value, but you get those numbers nailed down. You might do some spreadsheet model and compare it with your accountant or your financial team and set the conversion values so that your KPIs are meaningful. This does not have to be exact science. It's really not accounting. And what typically is more important is the relative value of the different types of leads. So that's number one, determine a conversion value for each type of conversion. Number two, then you assign those conversion values into your system. It could be assigned in an analytics platform like Adobe or Google Analytics. Whatever's passed into the ad platform, you can set it directly in the ad platform. For example, in Google Ads, under the tool icon, the conversions, when you configure your conversions, there's a place there to set the conversion value. Now, in e-commerce, this can be a little more complex because e-commerce platforms tend to have lower gross margins and more variable gross margins. You might have some products, for example, that sell for 30% gross margins and other ones for 70%. So you might want to base this off the actual net margin. So you set the conversion values, whether it's lead generation or e-commerce, and provision them into your ad platform. So now you're set up for success where you actually know the financial value that the campaigns are delivering. I hope you find this important. If you haven't seen the first video, make sure you go back and watch that. But it is a major key underpinning all successful ad campaigns. And keep in mind that principle when you're going through this work. It really does pay off in all of your optimization decisions and helping your management team understand the value of the campaigns. And most of all, in feeding valuable data back into the automated bidding algorithms in your ad platform so it knows when to bid more aggressively for more valuable conversions. If you find this helpful, I hope you do. I'll have more videos coming, so feel free to just click on subscribe. See you next time.